Have you ever wondered why in modern relationships, the one who cares less seems to have the most power? Now, imagine two people deeply connected, yet one always feels they're the one chasing. In the age of instant messaging and emotional games, control isn't about strength, it's about strategy. It begins with silence, absence, and emotional withdrawal. Then, curiosity becomes anxiety, and anxiety becomes obsession. Modern love thrives not on passion, but on imbalance. The person who controls the rhythm of communication, who decides when to reply, when to disappear, when to return, becomes the emotional architect of the relationship. This isn't love anymore. It's psychological warfare. But why does this dynamic feel so addictive? Why do we crave the one who withholds affection instead of the one who gives it freely? The answer hides deep inside our primitive wiring, and understanding it changes everything. Now, imagine your phone lights up with a single text after hours of silence. Dopamine floods your brain. That's not love. That's a reward system being hacked. In modern relationships, manipulation works through unpredictable reinforcement. Give, withdraw, and give again. It keeps your brain in a loop of desire and uncertainty. This is how emotional control is built, not through lies, but through timing. Then you start chasing validation, thinking that next message, next meeting, next smile will fix the imbalance. But it never does. That's the trap. The manipulator conditions your emotions, like a scientist conditioning a subject. The reward is not love. It's control disguised as connection. Then comes the mirror. Manipulators study your desires, fears, and emotional patterns and reflect them back to you. They become everything you've been looking for until you're hooked. This illusion of soul connection is not accidental. It's strategic empathy. They listen not to understand, but to collect emotional ammunition. Every confession becomes a future weapon, and when they pull away, you don't miss them. You miss the version of yourself that felt understood. That's the most dangerous form of manipulation, the one that makes you believe you've met your reflection. Now, imagine love as a currency. The rarer it seems, the more valuable it becomes. Manipulators know this. They create scarcity intentionally. By becoming hard to get, they amplify your emotional investment. It's not about rejection, it's about value creation through emotional absence. Then, when they return, the relief feels like love, when it's actually just the end of tension. This on and off rhythm trains you to associate pain with affection. You begin to believe love must be hard, dramatic, and unstable to be real. That belief keeps you trapped, longing for peace but addicted to chaos. Here's where reality bends. Emotional gaslighting makes you doubt your perception, your memory, even your sanity. That's not what I said. You're overreacting. You're too emotional. Each phrase chips away at your confidence until you question your own truth. Now, you depend on the manipulator's version of events, their interpretation of reality. Then they offer comfort, reinforcing your emotional dependence. The more confused you feel, the more you need them to feel safe again. That's not love. That's control through psychological disorientation. Now, here's the paradox. Manipulators often appear vulnerable first. They tell stories of pain, heartbreak, or trauma to invite empathy. Then, when you open up in return, you've handed them your emotional blueprint. Vulnerability becomes their access point to influence. They know what triggers you, what comforts you and what destroys you. And when power shifts, they weaponize that intimacy. This is not an attack on emotion. It is a reminder that real vulnerability should be mutual, not transactional. Then comes the empath, the one who feels too much. Empaths attract manipulators because their compassion is boundless. They try to fix, heal, or save the other, mistaking dysfunction for depth. The manipulator, on the other hand, feeds off that attention like an emotional parasite. The empath's love becomes self-destruction, disguised as devotion. But here's the truth. Compassion without boundaries is self-betrayal. Real empathy requires distance, not detachment, but discernment. Now, the relationship feels like an emotional roller coaster. Extreme highs, followed by devastating lows. Each argument feels like the end, and each reunion feels like destiny. This is the trauma bond, the psychological glue that makes you mistake intensity for intimacy. Your nervous system gets addicted to adrenaline and cortisol. Then, calm feels boring, and peace feels empty. You stay, not because you're weak, but because your brain has been rewired to crave chaos. Then, one day, silence feels different. It doesn't hurt. It heals. You begin to see patterns, not miracles. You stop romanticizing inconsistency and start craving emotional safety. This is where the power shifts. When understanding replaces illusion, manipulation loses control when awareness enters the room. Because once you name the game, you can stop playing it. The spell of manipulation breaks not with anger, but with clarity. Now that you've seen behind the curtain, love no longer looks like control, absence, or confusion. True connection isn't found in tension, it's found in transparency. Real love doesn't require you to shrink to fit someone's expectations. It expands who you are. So, if modern love has become a battlefield, let awareness be your armor, because the moment you understand how manipulation works, you become untouchable.